Hey folks, how you doing? Papa Joe here. I called a young friend today. Well, I say young. I mean, he's got teenagers for kids. But my kids are grown up. So he's younger than I. We hadn't got to speak in damn near a year. And I'm just about decided I'm going to cut that right down through there. There's a guy, Billy, on Discovery Channel. I think Discovery or History, I forget. Up in Alaska. And I was eyeballing how he's got his. He shaved his out right here. So this all gone. These here are just, he keeps them tight together. I might give that a whirl because I'm not liking what I have right now. Oh, and it's only hair. I can cut it all off and it'll grow back. Anyway, I reached out to young Derek today. He's the one that got on one of my posts there. He told y'all that he knew me and that I do have black friends. He was one of them. And I was a real person and I wasn't putting on no airs. This is me. I thought I'd lost his phone number. We both had phone issues since we left that show. I did find his. So I called him today and we had a little chit chat, quite a long chat. He's a good young fella. Young blood coming into the industry. And that's how it works. Us old guys, we go out, young blood comes in and takes over. And you know, that's just how it works. During the course of our conversation, he wished I would make a video about the tours. And he said he wished that he had taken notes when we first met, and I was telling him a bunch of stuff. Well, y'all read the comments. He told me the same thing in person that he put in the comments. It cost him. That's called paying your dues, you know. I had the old people telling me stuff. Some of it I listened to, some of it I didn't. Just like our kids, you know. We try to tell our kids stuff, and it goes in one ear and out the other. You have to learn some stuff on your own, you know. Our parents told us stuff. We didn't listen. We had to go learn it the hard way. But I did agree that it wouldn't be too bad to tell y'all how that trade show, well, I did that too. Which actually, the trade show and the rock and roll works a lot alike. Now in the trade show business, and this is what Derek was saying, was to make a video and give y'all a little bit better example of what we're doing. And of course it depends upon what you're doing. In the trade show business, we had our own warehouses. We had quite a few of them. I ran out of the one in Atlanta, Georgia. On that, it was pretty much, I'd go into the yard. Barry would tell me what trailer to grab and where it was going. I'd grab it and take off towards that town. Most of the time, we had what is called a marshaling yard. And that's where everybody gathers before a show. Now, we would run in, depending upon what show it was and how big it was, on how many trailers we would run in there. The trailers that we took in, they had the carpet and the graphics, all the pretty signs and stuff. The way it works is this: if you wanted to do a show, alright, you decided you wanted to do a show on whatever, on your vanilla cookies, you would have contacted our company and you would have told them, hey, I want to do a show about vanilla cookies and I want to do it at this place and I need help. At that point, the company I worked for would start asking you tons of questions. How many people do you have coming? How many do you think's going to come? How many booths do you need? And they would ask you all these questions. Now there's a wide spectrum, long list of stuff that you need. Some of them that do trade shows quite often, they have their stuff, or they have their own people to make or supply their stuff. Whatever you needed out of that long list, my company had. So we would rent, if you had 500 people coming with booths and 200 of them needed a booth, they would contact us and we would rent them a booth, which might consist of 2 walls, a table, and 2 chairs and carpet. And there's different things, you know, different levels. So before the show ever started, and if you ever noticed, them shows are, you're walking on carpet everywhere. Well, we provided that carpet. You're looking at signs to direct you different places. We made the signs. A lot of the booths, if it wasn't a regular, a lot of the booths was ours. And all this stuff. Well, this stuff would be all made in advance. It would be all counted up, trailered up, and ready to go. Then we would start moving in about a week before the show. Now, 2 or 3 days before the show, that's when you'd see some of the bed bugs, United and all them that do the shows. There's a lot of them that just, that's all they do, show to show to show to show. Then people have their own booths, whoever they're hauling. They might be hauling Timex. Well, if their Timex is going to all of these vanilla cookie shows, then they have their own booths. And that's what United or Mayflower or whoever is, they're their dedicated carrier. That's all they carry is their stuff. Now it's that driver's job. Well, let me back up to what we do first. Then I'll go into that driver. We would have stuff ready mostly out of Atlanta. And we would pick it up from Atlanta and take it to Houston. And we would have an area where we would drop all these trailers. Now, there might be something special that we need to run to our warehouse in Las Vegas to get. Or somebody from Las Vegas would come out this way and meet us. But we would bring all the carpet and the chairs and the graphics and whatever. And we would bring all this stuff and just stockpile it at this one yard. So that when they start moving in, we would have another company. Now, sometimes we actually did it. Sometimes we hired it out. But when they started unloading and setting up inside, then the one person had a list of all these trailers and everything that's on them. And they also had a list of all the trucks that are out there waiting. So when they start doing their setup, it's called a move-in. When they started the move-in, then you've got one senior truck driver or supervisor that knows about dealing with trucks and truck drivers. He's the only one that is talking to the people in the show. You've got 1 or 2 guys from the show that is calling the shots on what's coming in what order. So these two communicate, and the senior truck driver, he's on his handheld CB, and he's saying, Papa Joe, I need you to bring me trailer 141, put it in dock 4. Jimmy Bob, I'll need you to grid trailer 222, put it in dock 1. And on, and you would run these trailers in. I'd run in there and I'd drop my trailer, and he'd say, Papa Joe, go ahead and grab that trailer 499 out of dock 3 and put it back out yonder. Whether it's empty or not, I don't know. I don't care. I know they need it out of the dock. And this stuff is happening quick. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, we had a saying in the trade show business, chaos creates cash. And if you did not know what was going on, you would swear nobody else did either. Because, I mean, it looks like a circus. Trucks are coming and going, and stuff is happening quick. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. So you get everything in and moved in. We're done. Us company drivers, we're done. So now they're going to finish all their setup inside, running all their electrical and doing all their stuff and blah de blah de blah. And normally this is local union workers that do all this. My company brings in the head people. We have in one person that's into electronics, and he might have 2 or 3 sub people underneath him to help run stuff. But the actual crew is from the local unions. And they start putting everything together. So here it is Monday. They've got, and Monday's not realistically because this is usually happening over a weekend. So move-in is usually Wednesday or Thursday. APU cut off. So they get everything done on Thursday. So now, or let's say Wednesday. So now it is Thursday. They've set up all of our booths. Well, now it's time for these bed bugs to move in. And it's not always bed bugs moving these people, but most of you know what a bed bug is, a household good mover. That's your Mayflower United and all them. And they do a lot of these dedicated things. They're the ones with them great big old monster houses on a truck. And I've seen some of them. I've seen it where it's hard for me to maneuver that T600 I had with the 53. And here comes this old hand with the truck that damn near twice the size of mine with the 53. And he's putting that sucker where it needs to be. And I just struggled with my T6. And I'm good, boys and girls. I'm damn good. And this guy, he just made it look like a piece of cake. That's knowing your equipment is what it is. He's done drove that truck and been in so many positions. He knows his equipment. And he just did what he had to do. But now it's time for all these guys to come in. Normally when these guys come in, they know what's on their trailer. They know how it should come off. And then when it's a move out, they know how it goes back on their trailer. And normally them guys are back there watching and supervising. That being said, whoever they're hauling, say he's hauling Timex, Timex should have their people at the back of that trailer too, or inside. It is a working relationship between that truck driver, that dedicated truck driver. That's all he's doing is hauling their stuff. So it's between him and the Timex guy. And the two of them should work real good together. On move out, it's the same thing. Only it's in reverse. Now, they did the show for 3 days. It's Sunday night. It's time for move out. And there is a time limit on how long you have to move in and to move out. And if you don't hit your timelines, it can cost you a lot of money. Dadgum, boys and girls. I got to water down the old whistle. So now it's just reverse. So now they call Timex in, and kind like him, and we're going to want you at 8 o'clock. They tell this other one, we'll want you at 9 o'clock. This one at 7:30. And sometimes you still have to wait. Sometimes they don't hit it exact. Now you also have some outside brokered carriers coming in. So now not only is Timex and the people like him, they're in line to get in to pick up their freight. The same stuff that they brought in, they're taking to the next show. Well, now they got Billy Bob over here. He ain't got a clue. He didn't bring the stuff in. He ain't with us. He's an outside carrier, and his dispatcher got this load off of the board for yellow concrete. So he is told, be at this place at 8 o'clock p.m. sharp on the button, and tell this guy that you're there for yellow concrete, and this is your pickup number. Well, the guy he's telling probably works for my company. But now he shows up, and you have to work him into the mix. And if they ain't never done this before, remember I said that it just looks like madness? Well, he's going to go into shock. What in the world? But now he has to filter himself into wherever they tell and get his load and get out. Timex got theirs and got out. Now, the majority of these people are gone. The crews are still in there working, and they're tearing down all them signs, all those booths that we rented out. They're rolling up the carpet and the padding. They're taking up their electrical wiring and all that stuff. Well, now our guy, our lead driver, he's on there. Yo, Papa Joe, bring in trailer such and such. Bring in this one and bring in that one. And there you go. It gets put back on trailers, and it goes back to Atlanta, gets processed back into the warehouse. Now for the next show, some of it will get picked, some from over here, and you start it all over again according to what the next one needs. The rock and roll circuit is a whole lot the same. And that's where I met Derek, was doing the rock and roll circuit. We was on the Ariana Grande tour together. And now there, the only difference between it and the trade shows is the trade show is a one-time shot for the majority of the time, 99.99. You have the trade show this weekend. Now we're done until next year, and a lot of them do have repeats every year. With the rock and roll, you do it every night or every other night or whatever. That's up to their manager and whoever's been booking their shows. So the way it works there is we would meet up. We met up in Florida, not far from where Derek lives, and they had a couple practices down there for the band. Not us. We should not need practice. And then we wanted to do the first show, and they go real easy on the first couple of shows, let everybody get worked in. I did the merchandise. I had the t-shirts, so I was special. Derek, I don't remember what he had, but we'll say he had lighting. We had a guy, David, with us. We'll say he had the music equipment, sound stages. And each trailer had specific stuff on it. So now we did our first show. We have what's called a lead driver. He's in charge, and he does drive. And he's talking to the production manager who's in charge of all this. And they work it out where we're going to put this stuff on this trailer and this stuff on this trailer and this on this. So now they work the trucks in, and now it's up to the driver, because he knows some of us. He don't know all of us. and everything's subject to change too. So he's going to go by what he knows and who he knows. And a lot of these people have been working together for years. I mean, I've seen a lot of old friendships. Hey, man, where the hell you been? There's a lot of that in there. And not with me, because I didn't know none of them. It was my first show. So he's going to put his most important stuff, and it's up to him and the production manager on what's the most important. And then he's going to take the rest of us and put accordingly and hope that he guessed well. And he gave me, what was his name? Now it's going to drive me crazy. I can't think of our lead driver's name. Derek, if I don't say his name, you put it in comments. Oh, come on. He was from Virginia. It was a hillbilly name too. Wanted to say Bobby Joe, but Bobby Joe was the guy out of the office up there in Chicago. Dadgummit. So anyway, now we got that first one out. The lead driver and production manager, they've got stuff in the trailers they want. They normally try to keep the jumps 300 miles apart, more or less. So now we just did this show. Now y'all know concert show lets out about 10 o'clock, more or less. Now I've got t-shirts, and they're going to keep selling t-shirts till everybody's gone. As soon as people start, as soon as the show's over, the crews will go in and start tearing down all of the stage and sounds and lights and whatever they got. All that stuff starts getting tore apart. Now, before the concert ever ends, the lead driver's out there, well, I knew what I had to do, so I was easy on him. But Billy Bob, get over here and get ready. So-and-so, get ready. I want you over here at 8:30. And we're going back in. Now, one of the hardest things about doing the rock and roll circuit, and it really threw all of us, especially the older and more experienced you are, the harder time you had with it. And that was when you back up, you don't use them mirrors. Oh, no. Don't even look in them. If you do, you're liable to make that lead driver mad, and I have seen them come up and just slap that mirror. Slap right up against the door where you can't use it now. You got your CB on, and he's talking to you on a handheld CB, and he's telling you what he wants you to do with this steering wheel. Now, there's certain code words, and each lead driver have their own way of saying stuff, so you two got to learn to communicate. And he'll tell you, give me a little bit of driver. So you lean the steering wheel toward the driver's side. Give me a little bit of passenger. Give me more passenger. So you're taking that steering wheel to the passenger. Some of them, some drivers, when they say that, or lead drivers, when they say that, they mean they want you to cut it to the left and bring the... So you have to learn. And you don't use mirrors. Because some of these places that you're backing into, we actually had to do serpentines. I mean, just did S's going back. And you can't see around this stuff back here. I mean, you're coming down and going around a blind corner, and then you got to do it at... You can't see. So you have to learn to trust this man on the radio. You don't look at nothing. Nothing. You stare straight forward, and you just listen to that CB, and you do what he tells you. If he tells you stop, you stop. If he tells you to come on, you come on. If he tells you go this, you go this. If he tells you to do that, you do that. It's all out of your hands. That is hard. That, boys and girls, is one of the hardest things I've done in trucking. So now that we broke down, as in the show, It's now loaded on all the trucks. We have a 300-mile jump, and we're going to do this overnight. We make this jump. Now, back in the days, you got bonus money. Dadgummit, I'm trying to think what it was called. Overdrive. You got what they called overdrive. And I'm going to make these numbers up. So let's say if you drive 200 miles, most of these shows pay X amount of dollars a day. Let's say $100, just to make it easy. Pay all drivers are getting paid $100 a day. The lead driver gets $150. All right, so whatever you do up to 200 miles pays $100. All right, now if you have to drive 250 miles, then maybe you get an extra $25. If you drive 300 miles, you get a extra $50. So for today, you made $150. So you did your 300 miles. You got there overnight. You made your $150. Now, another hard thing about the rock and roll is finding the place that you're going to. It's called a venue. Finding that venue can be a pain in the butt. And trust me, you learn to communicate with your fellow truck drivers. So now we all found our place, the venue. And I tell you what, sometimes we're up on the sidewalks, we're in the streets, we got everything blocked up, but we're all there. Lead driver's out there watching. He's wanting to make sure. I've got 17 trailers, and if there's one that's not there, he's on the phone. Where you at, dude? Dude, we're moving in an hour. You're going to be here, right? So now we're all there. If you're late, a lot of times they'll give you 2 shots. Second time you're late, you're replaced. If the trucks ain't there, it can cost the company millions of dollars. I mean, there's a lot of people on the line waiting to do certain jobs, and if you're not there, you can cost them hours. And if this guy can't do his job, then maybe this guy can't, and this guy can't, up to and including the show not going on. And let that happen, and I guarantee you there is some major money. They do not tolerate you being late. If you break down, you will have a receipt. You will have proof that you actually broke down. Now, one of the pluses to most shows, but not all, is now we're all here ready to start the morning. After a few shows, that lead driver is going to know, all right, I want this truck, and this truck first. And all the drivers, we all learn eventually where our place is for what we're doing. Sometimes it depends upon how many docks they have. What time are they going to actually let us start getting in? So the earlier that they can start getting us into the docks, the better off it is on the lead driver. So now that we got situated, he got 3 trucks in, and the other 16 sitting in the streets waiting. But everybody's here. Well, being this is a road show, we get catering. But I ain't got time to stop and get breakfast. I got to get to that next show. So they bring in catering people, and you have 3 meals a day catered, actually 4. So you go in and you get to have your breakfast. Some of it's pretty decent, some of it sucks. Now then, your breakfast is over. It's 8 o'clock. The union hands are showing up. All the stage hands are showing up. Now stuff is starting to happen out on the docks. These trucks that got put in the docks, they're getting emptied out quick, fast, and in a hurry. Now we go right back to what I was talking about with the trade shows. Now you got this lead guy out here. Billy Bob, you're done. Get the hell out of here. Jimmy Joe, come on in here. Rufus, you go over yonder. So now these trucks are just hammering it in and out. And once they're all done, they all go away. I was normally the last truck in the dock because I had t-shirts. Sometimes I didn't even get in the dock. A lot of times I had my own special place that I would go. The two merch guys that I had who did not work for our company, we just hauled their stuff around for them. They had been around rock and roll circuits forever. So pretty much every venue we went to, they had already been there. So they had a clue. And a lot of times before we ever got there, we're still at this other place. And my guy in the back told me, all right now, Papa Joe, over here, this is what you do. And this is probably, if I remember right, this is what. And yes, I was called Papa Joe too. That's why when you seen Derek made his comments, he called me Papa Joe. I've been called Papa Joe for a little while. It ain't just for this YouTube channel. So, so you get moved in. As soon as your breakfast is over, your truck's empty, you go out to the street. Now you better be getting you some sleep. You need to get what you can, because guess what? Come tonight, about 8 o'clock, all this is going to start happening all over again. Now, if you're lucky, you got to get your 3 squares and your 3 meals. A lot of times I got breakfast and lunch and I miss dinner because I'm up already for breakfast because we're doing our thing and I have wait around, get the trailer set up. Got to deal with all this stuff. A lot of times my merch guys would get all their t-shirts and stuff off the trailer, then I would have to go move. Well, now it's time for lunch. So I would eat lunch, then I'd go back in my truck and I'd go to bed. I'd get my 6-7 hours sleep, whatever I could get. I'd get up, go inside. A lot of times supper's gone. I missed it, slept through it. Bummer. Sometimes I did catch it. But you had your bug out meal. That's where as you got done loading your truck for the evening, lead driver would give you a bag lunch. Because now you got to drive all night. No, you do it all over again. Now you're out of there. You hurry the 200, 300 miles, whatever it is, to the next place, and you do it all over again. So Derek was telling me that, you know, he went out with Kiss and then he did another one. I didn't go on them. That Ariana Grande and the company that we was with, they left bad taste in my mouth. I'd had enough, which that was part of what Derek was talking about. He wished he had listened to some of the advice I had thrown at him. And one of them was, this shit here, this ain't gonna make you no money. They done, and they have. It became a cooperation thing. There's no money left in it for the drivers. They have this stuff to such fine-tuned that they have done figured out how to keep everybody at the lowest levels as broke as they can. That way the upper echelon, they make more. So if they can keep us from getting our buyouts, which is motel buyouts, they can keep us from getting our overrides, and that's where the money was for the truck drivers, and those two right there. And they figured out how to stop it. You know, it's common practice that this is how it happens, and we get it. Well, then let's make it not happen. So instead of going that 300 miles, let's only go 200. Let's keep it within range of what we're already paying for. Let's not pay extra. Your buyouts is where if you have an extra night in between shows, If the crew, the stage crew and all them, production crew, if all those folks get a motel room, the truck driver is offered a buyout, and it's agreed upon what price it is, $50, $75, $100 a night, whatever it is. But if all these people, we make our run to St. Louis, we got St. Louis Monday, but the show ain't until Wednesday, so everybody gets a motel room for Tuesday night, and the agreement was $100, well, I get $100, and I sleep right here in this truck. That's where the money was for the drivers. So you're making your, actually we made, I ain't gonna tell you what we made, but since we was saying here earlier, you made your $100 for your day's wages, you made your $100 for your buyout, you made your $50 for your override, or $250 you just made. So now do that about 4 times in a row and you start making a little bit of money. So you could make money, you had to work for it. And that's just the basics of how it works. This drug out 36 minutes. I wonder how many it's going to last for it. But there you go, Derek. I did what you asked, buddy. Y'all remember, God loves you, and I do too. Y'all have a good evening. Bye.